My dad scoffed. "Why are you complaining? You never paid rent anyway." I just laughed and stopped paying the mortgage I had been covering for years. Now they're the ones facing eviction, and suddenly they're begging me for help. Without any warning or guilt, my mom said casually, like it was no big deal, "We're giving your room away." She sliced her bagel so carefully, like she hadn't just dropped a bomb on me. I was 25, still living at home, working full-time in a warehouse, trying hard to save money so I could move out someday without going broke. Every paycheck was a tricky puzzle. Some went to savings, some to bills, some to groceries, and some to a water heater I paid for last fall, which nobody seemed to remember came from my pocket. I wasn't using anyone. I was just quietly getting by, like I was living somewhere I didn't fully belong. I said, "Okay," with a small smile to hide how upset I really was. "I'll start packing tonight." At that moment, I made up my mind. I was done. It wasn't really about the room. That was just the last straw, the thing that broke the wall of pretending everything was okay since I was a teenager. That house never felt like mine. I was just there because it was easy, like a tool people only notice when it stops working. That morning I still went to work, but something inside me changed. I wasn't coming back, at least not for good. I didn't tell anyone. On my lunch break, I looked up apartments and found a small one-bedroom just 10 minutes from work. I paid 6 months' rent up front. I'd been saving for something else, maybe a car or a better future, but this felt right. That night, I came home like always, smiling when my mom asked me to take out the trash, fixing the Wi-Fi when it cut out during my sister's online class. But inside, I had already left. That night, I started letting go of all the things I did for them. I began with the lawn. For 18 months, I'd mowed, edged, raked, and weeded every weekend without being asked or thanked. Dad used to do it, but once I was old enough, the job silently became mine. No thanks. Just an expectation. That weekend, I let the grass grow. It was already tall from the rain, but I didn't touch it. I skipped the mower and went out for coffee instead. When I came back, Dad was standing outside, arms crossed, glaring at the long grass like it was an insult. "You forgot to cut the grass?" he asked, annoyed. I shrugged. "No, just didn't feel like it." He blinked like he couldn't believe it. "You gonna do it later?" "Nah, I'm busy," I said, walking past him. It was a small act of rebellion, but it made a big difference. By Sunday night, the Wi-Fi went out again. My sister was yelling because her tutoring got cut off. Usually, I'd fix it, reset the router, change the cables, reboot the system, a routine I knew well from all the times I had to do it. Instead of helping, I stayed in the kitchen, calmly packing chili into a container, pretending not to hear my sister freaking out. "Mom," she called, panicked. "The Wi-Fi's down again. I don't know how to fix it." From another room, Mom's sharp voice asked, "Where's he?" I let them struggle for half an hour before I just walked out the door with my food. No one said a word. That week, I also stopped picking my sister up from school. No heads up or anything. 4 months, I'd done it every Tuesday and Thursday without fail. Mom's work schedule didn't match, and Dad refused to leave early, so I quietly changed my own plans to make sure she got home safe, like everything else I took care of. Thursday came and went, and my sister waited in the school office for 2 hours before someone showed up. When I brought her home that night, the house felt heavy, like nobody wanted to say what was really on their minds. "You didn't pick up your sister today," Mom said flatly. "No," I replied, setting down my keys. "And I didn't forget." She stared, waiting for more, but I just walked past and went to my room. I think that was the moment they finally realized how much I'd been doing, but it was just the start. By the 3rd day, the kitchen sink started leaking again. That slow drip was back. I had fixed it last year myself, buying the right part and replacing it without telling anyone. Now the leak was back, and a little puddle had formed under the cabinet. Dad was crouched there with paper towels and a flashlight, like he was solving a mystery. As I walked by with my coffee, he looked up. "You know how to fix this, right?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, pausing in the doorway. "I do." He kept waiting for an answer, but I just walked away. That night, after dinner, I didn't clean up. No washing dishes or wiping counters. I just got up and went to my room while they all pretended not to notice. The tension in the house was like a living thing by now. On Friday, while I was at work, Mom texted me, "Can you cover the electricity bill this month? We forgot, it's due today, and Dad's paycheck isn't in yet." I stared at the message. For over a year, I'd quietly paid bills like that, stopping them from getting cut off more times than I could count. But this time, I said, "Sorry, I have rent now. Remember?" She didn't reply. That night, I came home to a dark porch light. The house felt quieter and darker than usual. My sister sat at the table, clearly annoyed, flipping through math homework and scratching the paper with the wrong end of her pencil. "You didn't buy printer paper," she said without looking up. I'd always been the one to buy it and remember. "Nope," I said, dropping my backpack. "Maybe someone else will handle it now." She slammed her pencil down and stomped away. From the hallway, Mom was watching her carefully, then turned to study me like I'd suddenly become a stranger. I looked back and smiled. Not smug, just calm. Everything was slowly falling apart, not because I did something dramatic or mean, just because I stepped back. And that was what bothered them the most. Saturday morning came with no coffee. I heard cabinets opening and slamming, and Mom muttering when she realized we'd run out of coffee grounds. I'd always been the one to keep it stocked, buying big bags near work and replacing them without anyone noticing. That morning, they looked at the empty coffee can and silent machine like it was a betrayal. I sat in the living room, finishing cereal, already dressed, keys in my hand. Mom looked over her empty mug. "Are you heading out?" she asked, calm but curious. "Yeah," I said, swallowing the last bite. "Meeting the property owner, picking up some stuff." "At property owner?" She tensed just a little. I nodded, stood up, and stepped outside before she could ask more. A couple of hours later, I came back with a few boxes and even more sure about my decision. That afternoon, I started packing my things, not rushing or making a big deal, just slowly and on purpose, one box at a time. I loaded my stuff into my car's trunk or back seat, then went back for more. I could feel their eyes on me the whole time. No one asked why or helped. By dinner, half my room was packed. Dad acted like everything was normal, flipping TV channels. My sister was glued to her phone. Mom tried to change the subject carefully. We talked, and maybe it's better to wait before Olivia takes your room. I paused, fork in the air. "Why?" She glanced at Dad, who pretended not to hear. "Well, with everything going on, maybe it's not the right time." I took a bite, then said, "Actually, this is the perfect time. The room's empty now. I already signed the lease. I'm moving by Tuesday." My sister blinked, surprised. "Wait, you're serious?" I looked right at her. Olivia packed up my stuff into plastic bins when I wasn't home. I found them under the stairs. "So yeah, I'm serious." Mom's voice softened. "You should have told us." "I did," I said. "You just didn't listen because I smiled when I said it." I went back to eating, calm and unfazed, while they sat quietly like they finally realized I wasn't staying. By Monday night, I was like a ghost in the house. Boxes were stacked by the door, clearly labeled, kitchen stuff, clothes, tools, electronics. Everything I owned was either in my car or already in my new apartment. Empty but full of fresh starts just a short drive away. But I took my time. No rushing, no slamming doors. I wanted them to feel it, the quiet when I wasn't there to keep everything going. Trash wasn't taken out, the mailbox was full, and the bathroom upstairs had that annoying gurgling noise I fixed 3 times before, but not this time. I passed it all with a calm feeling inside. Dad stopped me in the kitchen. "You really think this is the best choice?" he asked, arms crossed, trying to sound more serious than he felt. I opened the fridge. Half the food was stuff I'd bought, yogurts no one else ate, orange juice that always disappeared before I got any. I grabbed a water bottle and faced him. "Yeah," I said. For the first time in a long while, his face looked serious. "You think it's that easy? Rent, bills, everything." I looked him in the eye and held the silence just a bit before smiling. "I've been paying your bills for the past year. I think I can handle my own." He had nothing to say, just stared like he expected a joke that never came. Then he walked away. Upstairs, My sister's door was open a bit. I peeked in. My old room was hers now. She'd started decorating with fairy lights and pastel cushions. But the shelves I put up were still there. The patch I fixed after she punched a hole was holding strong. She caught me looking. "You could have just said no," she said softly, looking away. I nodded. "And you could have asked," I said as I kept walking. There was no anger left. That fire inside me had already burned out. What stayed with me after everything was something clearer, a strong feeling of clarity. Tuesday morning, I was officially gone. I put the last box in my car and looked at the house one last time, not with sadness or anger, just simply noticing. The porch light was still broken, the recycling bins were overflowing, and the Wi-Fi still wasn't working. It felt kind of poetic, honestly. Before leaving, I taped a single sheet of paper to the fridge. It had a plain list, no extra feelings, just facts. Things I did that you probably never thanked me for. Cut the grass every week. Took out garbage and recycling regularly. Paid 5 utility bills when they were late. Fixed the Wi-Fi router over 10 times. Spent about $1,200 on groceries in 9 months. Drove Olivia home from school 32 times. Changed porch light bulbs 3 times. Cleaned up after dinner almost every night. Gave $200 toward Dad's car repair. Kept this house running while feeling like an outsider. At the bottom, I wrote one last line. Good luck managing all this. I'm finally leaving to live in my own place. Then I locked the door behind me for good. Nobody contacted me that first day. By the second day, the messages started. Mom first, missed call, then a text. "Hey, the internet isn't working. Do you remember the router login?" Then Dad, trying to sound calm but clearly annoyed. "Where do you keep the lawnmower key?" I didn't reply to either. By Friday, the messages got more confused and full of guilt. Olivia texted me one word, "Seriously?" I guess they thought I'd give in, come back when things got tough. Maybe they thought I was just making a point, not leaving for good. They were wrong. Meanwhile, my new apartment finally felt like home. I put up shelves, picked my own kitchen stuff, and played music as loud as I wanted. The quiet I wanted wasn't scary anymore. It felt peaceful and real. It was like the world stopped expecting things from me. A week later, Mom called again. This time I answered. Her voice sounded tight and frustrated. "You didn't have to leave like that." I stayed quiet, letting her talk. "We didn't realize how much you were doing," she said. "The bills, the garbage. I didn't know it was all on you." "Yeah," I said calmly. "I know." There was a long silence. Olivia's having a hard time with school pickups. We both work, and she's struggling with the bus. I didn't say anything. We never thought things would fall apart so fast. "That's because you never saw what was holding it all together." She tried to sound hopeful. "Well, I hope you're happy now." I smiled, even though she couldn't see. "I am. I always was." After that, I felt like I was watching my old life through a window, close but out of reach. Olivia never messaged me again after I ignored her. Dad never reached out, probably too proud. Mom sent a few messages now and then, sounding unsure. "Hope you're doing well, or things are a bit crazy here." She never said she missed me, just hinted it. The house didn't feel the same without me. I never replied back. But I kept hearing things from neighbors and people we both knew. The yard got all messy and overgrown. Olivia missed a bunch of rides, and once even had to walk home in the rain. The water got shut off for half a day because the bill wasn't paid on time. And the porch light, it kept flickering like it was calling for help. They were drowning in all those little daily tasks they always took for granted, things I used to handle without any trouble. And weirdly, I didn't feel any kind of victory. No happiness in their struggle, no anger. I wasn't even upset anymore. I had just moved on. I settled into my new life. Started cooking my own simple meals, nothing fancy, but honestly, they tasted better than anything I ate back there. Not because the food was better, but because it was mine. I started sleeping better too. No more strange creaks on the floorboards at night. No sudden knocks asking me to run errands. No heavy feeling of unspoken expectations hanging over me. Just quiet. Real, peaceful quiet. About a week and a half after I left, I got home late from work and found a small envelope slipped under my door. No sender, just my name written in my mom's handwriting. Inside was a single page, folded carefully. At the top, it said, "We didn't realize." Then a messy list, no bullets, just quick notes. The trash. Olivia's rides to school. The internet. The groceries. The leaky sink. The porch light. The emptiness. At the bottom was one last line. "We never treated you like a son. I'm sorry." That was it. No begging me to come back. No promises to change. Just acknowledgement. And for the first time since I left, I felt something change, not toward them, but inside me. It wasn't closure exactly, but maybe it was enough. I never wrote back, not because I didn't care. I felt a lot, actually. I just left the letter on my kitchen counter for hours. Read it again the next morning. Folded it, unfolded it. Thought about what it meant. But words on paper can't erase years of being ignored. A quick list can't undo all the times I was only noticed when something was broken or needed paying for. They finally saw the space I left. That was clear. But it wasn't my job anymore to fill it. By the second week, I heard Olivia figured out how to take the bus by herself, though she missed it twice and got caught in the rain again. Mom hired someone to take care of the lawn. Dad tried to fix the Wi-Fi but ended up disconnecting the whole modem, shutting down the alarm and TV for a day. They were trying, slowly and awkwardly, like someone learning to walk again. And me? I was thriving without their expectations. I started doing things I never allowed myself before. Bought a bookshelf, not because I needed one, just because I wanted it. Every Friday, I treated myself to a meal out, a little tradition just for me. I even signed up for a weekend woodworking class, something I'd put off forever because someone was always needing help or a ride. The weight of all that responsibility had lifted, and I hadn't realized how heavy it was until it was gone. One evening, while cleaning my emails, I saw an old reminder I set months ago, Dad's vehicle registration check, if he's short on money again. I stared at it for a while, then finally deleted it. That night, I sat on my small balcony, legs up on a plastic chair, and just breathed out. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for something to go wrong. I wasn't listening for someone to call me. I wasn't bracing for a favor disguised as a request. The silence that used to feel so heavy now felt like peace. I haven't gone back, not even for visits or celebrations. The calls stopped. Maybe they feel guilty. Maybe they're just tired. Or maybe they finally understand that I wasn't just living there. I was the one holding everything together. And when that's gone, everything starts to fall apart. The note I left on the fridge is probably still there. Or maybe they threw it away, like something too painful to keep looking at. Either way, it did its job. Goodbye.